guys, how are you all? Hope you're all blessed. Hope everything is going great in each one of your lives. Um, so today I want to share about how I want to ask a question like, how often do we um, encourage others, support one another? We always want to do it deep inside, but when we are surrounded with people, when we do get an opportunity, we don't really think about it. At least I don't. Deep down, I want to be there. I want to encourage people. I want to, stand strong and talk boldly to people, to especially young kids. And they need encouragement, and they need motivation. But there are times, the questions and doubts that they ask, we're just so confused ourselves of like, okay, I want to help you out there, but I don't have I don't have the answer. So most of the time we do struggle. I do. I'm sharing about what I struggle with, and I'm assuming somewhere people would also be struggling with somewhat the similar thing. I believe that I'm not the only one. um I want to say, like, especially the kids these days, they are very well aware of everything because of social media. Whatever is happening around the world, they're so updated. um I'm not a social media person, very very old school. I don't scroll down on Insta, or I don't do those kind of stuff. It doesn't motivate me. I don't know, for some reason I feel like I'm not being productive, so I might as well not do that. And I personally don't like really scrolling down, or it's just I feel like I'm wasting time. And for the most people who do scroll down and they're always on Insta, they say the same thing too. They're like, they look at look at me, and they're like, you know what you're doing is good. Actually, it keeps you productive. It frees your mind, like you're not um, nothing is bothering you, because when you are looking at Insta, it's more of somebody else's life, and things begin to bother you mentally, and you there are chances you may get like distracted, and things can bother and affect you. So might as well not have one account. Or if you're good at with time management, then it's fine. Like, you can have it, and you know when to start, you know when to stop. So if you are that determined with yourself, then it's okay. But otherwise, I would always recommend not to really go for this if you are having a purpose and vision in your life, which you should, because God's calling and purpose it's important, and it's important to prioritize why what God has for you, and why He's asking you to do certain things, and what your calling is. So be aware of what you're called to do, and stay focused on that, prioritize that. So so I was saying, like, the kids these days, they're so aware of everything, and they're so updated. I feel I feel so, like, so lost. I honestly, I don't feel like I fit in those young group circles. It's just, I'm like, I'm out, guys. Like, I don't understand what you guys are talking about. So um that's what I would do before, up until last year, beginning of last year. I would just walk off. I'm like, I don't know, I can't um you know cope up with you guys. I can't, I just don't feel like I fit in. But by the end of last year, God was just asking me a question like, what is your calling? It is to be there for people, and you have to like talk to people and motivate them, encourage them, tell them what they believe or what the world tells them that is not the truth, but what the word tells is the truth. So somebody had to like, has to stand up and speak and talk the truth. And when kids are around you, the older one takes the stand. And if we older ones are just walking off, how can the younger generation grow? These are the questions that it was just popping in my head from the end of last year. And this year I took a decision to, no matter what, I'm just gonna be there. I mean, I'm still learning. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to like push myself, and I ask God, like, God, just give me the help and give me the strength to um, talk to kids, because it's not easy. The kids these days, not easy. um, we are like so outdated, and they just come and they're like, okay, in order to stand with them and to speak to them, we need to update ourselves first. So that was a task for me, to connect with them. It's still, even now, I find it hard, because a person who's never been in social media, or I have no clue what's happening, and it doesn't it never bothered me. I never felt like I lacked something, or I mean, I don't lack anything. It's just that to connect with kids, you need to be updated with certain things, just to connect with them. You know, also being friendly with them, and not being weird. They should not feel distant when they're talking to me. So that's one thing I was working on. Um, I am still working on. So um, yeah, so my thing was like to encourage and to support people. I need to be there for them, and whatever struggles that they are going through, they need to have the freedom to come to me and speak, which does happen. Like, it does, people do come and talk. But the thing is, I always struggled to communicate with them, and to tell them, and to encourage them and support. Deep down, I want to do it, but I'm like, how do I do it? What do I say? Sometimes, kids, they just want to be heard. So when they're speaking something, they're sharing something, just listen. Don't say anything they don't want to hear. They just want to be heard. So I sit down, I would listen, and I gradually, like, this year, even now, one thing that I realized is, they want to be heard. And when while they're sharing, I'm just sitting quiet, and I'm just listening to what they're saying, and respond with maybe facial expressions, but I don't really speak anything. um, and that way they were, trying to be open and wanting to speak and wanting to share more. So I was like, okay, I kind of like this, like, the fact that they are open, and me being there, like, it's somewhere I feel like I am helping them out. There is some sort of support that's coming from my side, and I'm genuinely happy about that. If they are sharing about any struggles, which is very rare, but here and there, bits and pieces, I would I mean, they would tell me, and I would listen to it. I'd come back home, and I would just um, I like genuinely pray for people who are struggling, and I do pray for them on the spot there and then, but I come back home and I'm like, God, just give them the strength and courage. They're too young to face that, and that's that's there. So I wanted to share this. I was just thinking today, like, you know, maybe there are people who want to be there for others and want to help, but you're struggling and you're just asking a question to yourself, like, am I doing enough, or what and how can I be of any help to anybody? um, I would just say, like, some, especially with kids, they like to be heard, and even adults, older people, people love to be heard. They don't like to always get, you know, a lot of counseling and, you know, a lot of speaking and this. I mean, it's great. There are people who need it at times, but most of the time people want to be heard. So just listen, just sit quiet and listen, but listen to them. Okay, don't fake it. Actually listen to what they are saying, because they will they can understand if you're genuine or not. So it shows. So be there for them and support them, because at the end we're called to do that. We're not called to run away. If you feel, because I felt that, I felt like I was, in the beginning, I never felt like I fit in um, certain groups, and I'm like, I feel so outdated, and I'm like, I'm just gonna walk off. And I did walk off. I'm like, I don't know where to go and what to do. I was so confused. And God's like, no, that is not your what you're called to do. You're not called to, you know, be in your comfort zone and just run away, and you just think that you're not fitting in and you just walk off. No, because everybody's calling is different, and everybody is called to, you can, it's an easy thing to be there for people. You can listen, right? That's not a hard thing. Like, if people are coming to you and sharing something, be a good listener. Just listen. They want to be heard. So that's one of the easy step that we can definitely do. um, and the other things of, you know, how to encourage and how to be there, seek divine wisdom. God's wisdom is necessary, especially when you're talking to younger generation, younger kids. It's very important to have the divine wisdom. Seek God's help, because that is essential during those, you know, those conversations that you have with younger ones. um, One thing that I have noticed is, you know, when one person stands up and, you know, decides to do something for others, eventually there are a lot of people who watch you. There are a lot of people who observe you. We may not know it, we may not realize it, we may not be alert about what's happening around us, but people do watch. um, know that you are being watched. And so when you are supporting people, and when you stand up and take the bold decision of being there for people, helping each other, building up each other, um, taking that step of, you know, being there for people, don't you think the people who are watching you will eventually want to do the same? So maybe such a desire is there in everybody's hearts, but they don't know how to take the step. Why don't we be that? Take that initial step, take that first step to, you know, just be there for people, stand for the truth, and talk for people. Maybe there are people who do not know how to respond. Actually, I was one in that category. I'm still trying to change and improve. But for me, one thing that I've noticed is, whenever I'm not able to speak, or when I don't know, I honestly, like, genuinely, I don't know if people talk something, I don't know how to, you know, talk back, or, you know, give a straightforward response. I just choose silence. most of the time. But there are people who back up for me, who stand for me. um, they're like, they will talk for me. But sometimes I'm like, I think it's high time that I start, talking. But there are, I'm also scared if that's gonna be rude, because I can be extremely rude, and I don't want to ruin that. Also, keeping in mind and knowing that our words have power, that's very important. I came to a realization that my words have extreme power, which was last year. And I took this decision of, slowing things down, because I would speak without thinking, um, and it would sound rude, and then eventually I just stopped. And even before, I was not a person who would react, but then there was a time, like, everything anybody says, it would just bother me and irritate me, and I would just say something. So there was one season it was bad. And last year that had to end. I had to put an end to that and become a new creation that God has created me to be. And yeah, so now that I'm a new creation, I'm just choose silence. I do not say anything against anybody. Even if it's as a joke, I'm very careful. So I was a person who's very, very extremely sarcastic, and I just stopped that, because words have power. Whether you're joking or whether you're being sarcastic, you're saying it with your mouth, your tongue, your words, your mouth has power. So your tongue has power. So I would just say, no jokes. Do not be sarcastic about anything, because words are life. So when you are speaking that to somebody, maybe you're saying it as a joke, but that has so much power, and your words bring life. So don't joke around. That is not a joke. It's a serious matter. So do not be sarcastic. Do not be being funny all the time. That was me. God changed me and is changing me. So um, that was one thing that I had to learn to stay silent most of the time when people are talking something. Maybe they are saying it as a joke, and I get it, I understand, but I don't know, I'm just like, I don't want to say anything, because either we can be extremely rude, and the other thing that I know for sure is my words have power. So I don't want to take that lightly, because in our daily action, daily speaking, we have to learn to control it, because how else are we going to grow? Because if you want to pray over somebody, the words that you speak in your private life, in your friend circle, has to be, you have to carefully speak those words as well. Because even, see, it's not like when you're praying you're a different person. When you're in a private life, when you're in with your friends, it's a different life. You are, you have to be the same wherever you go, because you shine, you are the light, and you shine God's light wherever you go. So you cannot be different in different places, right? So when you are in your friend circle, be careful with what you're speaking, be careful with your words. And when you pray for somebody, your words have power, they're so strong. So whenever you pray something, there is gonna be an answer to that prayer. So whatever you're doing in your private life, whatever you're speaking in your private life, that's important too. Once I've begun to change the way I speak in private life, and when I started praying for people, I saw a huge difference. That was one major difference that I saw in my life. Like, I actually, like, physically saw it. I saw it live, and I'm like, man, words have power. So it's so strong. So, and especially after I saw it, I saw the change, I'm like, man, words have power. And now I'm like, after that, I was very, very careful with what I spoke to anybody, even in my private life, um, public life, or praying for people. Everything was very, I was very careful with my words. And that was something that I learned it this year. It's life changing. So sometimes, people might say something, you really have the temptation to say something back, but deep inside that's rude and that's not nice. Then just zip your mouth and stay silent. The rest, God will take control. And I'm also saying, like, there are times people say certain things, but I know it's a joke. I know it's not, they're not serious, they don't mean it, but I still choose to be silent because um because I saw a change in my prayer life, and I saw a change when I'm praying for people. There's instant healing, and there's a huge difference. So I'm like, you know what, I'd rather choose that instead of just talking trash and talking being sarcastic and just laughing around and playing the fool and stuff. That I would choose this because this is more powerful, and I know this is my calling, and I'll just stay stuck to that instead of doing something else. So that's one thing that God's been teaching me this year. So when I was talking about like supporting and being there for people, I also mean like pray for people and be there whatever struggle that they're going through. When they come to you and they're sharing things to you, it's because they trust you, and they know that you carry something. And don't take it for granted. Don't be like, oh yeah, I got to know this about this person, and just walk off. Instead, be there. If they're struggling with something, pray for them instantly, immediately, at that time, that moment. Don't say that I will pray for you, and then you come home and then you forget about the whole thing. So how about just pray there and then, and experience healing instantly? Isn't that beautiful, right? It's really cool. And yeah, so that was one thing I wanted to share, to be there for people and support each other. One thing I want to say or speak about is, most of the time that I have noticed is, women among women, it's a little different to support each other. It's a little hard, like when there are when how do I say it, how do I word it, there are certain uh, I'll talk about like young girls. If somebody is growing, the other person may not like it. I've seen that. See, it's very normal that happens, and I understand there may be comparison and stuff like that. You may think less of yourself when you're seeing somebody else grow, but the question to ask yourself is, does that make me less of a person? No, because see, if somebody else is growing, you are just few steps away from that growth the other person has already accomplished. So you just have to do some learning, to do just few more steps, take a few more steps, and you'll reach there. So you don't have to feel upset about anything. You don't have to be mad at yourself and pressurize yourself and hate yourself for all that. You can just maybe learn a skill or something that the other person has accomplished, or maybe ask the other person, how did you do that? Like, what did you do behind the scene? What did you work on? Also, maybe their path is different and your path is different. So if it is extremely different skill from what you have, then please, you focus on your skill. But if it is kind of similar, ask for suggestions. and ask them what they did, what helped them, and you can also grow that way. So you don't have to put yourself down, you don't have to feel less of yourself. um, and if it is completely another different skill, you are interested in something completely different, then focus on the skill that you are interested in and see where God places you and see where you reach in few months. So keep practicing and keep learning whatever skill that you are interested in. Polish that, improvise that, and pray about it. Keep everything in God's place it in God's hands and see how God just transforms your life. um, so I just want to read verse from the book of First Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 11. So encourage each other and build each other up just as you are already doing. Encourage others, build others up. So if you are seeing somebody grow, you don't have to feel bad about them, about that, not about them, about that, about yourself. You encourage them, build them up, let them grow, and you focus on your dreams and your desires and your ideas, your skills that God has placed in your life. You know, their life is different. God has placed something else in their life and they have accomplished it. Now you focus on yours, and you don't have to follow what they are doing. If you're interested in whatever they did, go ahead and do it. Ask them for suggestions, ask them for tips, and what did they do, what are the things they worked on, what are the things they developed as they learned. So what did they learn? So you can definitely seek help that way if you are interested. But if not, just because you want to fit in, don't pressurize yourself. Don't put in that much pressure onto yourself. You're not called to do that. Focus on your skill and your dream and your purpose. Identify your calling and stay focused on that. Do not get distracted with what others are doing. Their calling is different. Your calling and your journey is completely different. So just stay focused on that. Do not get distracted with anything else. I wanted to just share this. Just support everybody, support one another, build one another, and while you're doing this, please be genuine, because people can't understand if it's fake. So be genuine, wholeheartedly go and help people out, support one another, be there for people, because we are called to do that. We're not called to grow on ourselves alone, but instead to help others grow as well, and be there for them, support them. And if you know something, something that you discovered, there's something that you learned, and you can go ahead and share those tips and things that you have learned to your friends and to the other people around you. They can be encouraged with your learnings and with your tips as well. All right, so how to build a team and bring them forward, and everything for do everything for the kingdom of God. And when you are climbing and when you are going ahead, take people with you as well. Don't go alone. Make sure there are people around you who are learning as well. All right, so that is something that I wanted to share about, something that I wanted to speak about, and I'll stop at that. Thank you so much for watching, and I pray that God gives you the strength and wisdom to support one another and to help each other. Wisdom is key in this, to whatever skill that you have, ask God for wisdom, ask Him to multiply the skill that you have, the skill that God has already placed in your hands. Multiply whatever is in your hands. Ask God for help, and He will definitely do it. Do anything to grow the kingdom of God. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Stay blessed, y'all. Love you all. Bye bye.